What's up, guys? We are live. Welcome to the live stream on the Latherhog channel. Quick intro. I am Latherhog, aka John. With me is my esteemed guest,
Indeed.
One Pass Bilu. You might know him from the Canadian Mafia show over on Instagram, happening every other week. Hold on, I have a little card, so you can go follow Ben at both those accounts, One Pass Bilu as well as Canadian Mafia Show.
Oh,
So
nice.
Ben, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is always a ton of fun, so I'm always down to do one of these.
Yeah. So we'll let people trickle in. I think we announced, just yesterday. It's been a busy week for various reasons. I'll include that in my plugs later, but I don't want to be like shilling that all in the beginning. In the meantime, viewers, this is a live show, so please say hello over in the comment section. We can see them and we can highlight them. So I see right now Marion Barbarian. I can say his name. Marion, what's up? Sorry, Marion. Sully, Matt Fox, Nate from BBS Live. More Marion. I can barbershop duet. Nice. Hello. Oh, we got
Hi, dweebs. Thanks, Nate.
Marion asks, why does that Canadian Mafia logo look like Kirkland's signature? Why not?
That's my favorite brand. I think it was Carlos, or no, it was you.
I made that. I made that for you. Yeah, on a previous live stream. Yeah. So I combined,
my two passions.
Ben's two passions. It's been a long time since we've had a live stream. I think the spring was the last time we had.
That's what I'm wearing right now.
He's got the
Kirkland slides.
Kirkland slides. I haven't seen that one in my Kirkland. I mean, my Costco.
Oh, really? They sold out that fast?
I just don't think. I think you guys have different stuff. That's my guess.
No, they're everything that comes to Canada. It hits America like a month before we get it.
Okay,
but,
so
I do remember seeing. Yeah. Well, you gotta be up to date with the swag, the Kirkland. The drip. Is that the kids call it the drip?
Ben, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I don't own any Kirkland swag. Hey. I just send you anything in the news that's noteworthy about Costco. That's basically the extent of our conversations in private. Yeah. Look at this, Costco China.
Gotta go. Oh. Did you remember seeing the Costco Shanghai launch? Like when they first opened? Oh, it got raided.
Yeah,
like, absolutely raided.
That's probably crazy.
Yeah, like those chickens gone and like those like rotisserie chickens. Yeah, it's insane. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I gotta buy some stock in Costco, man."
Is this true? Matt says, "I just bought them while in a hotel in Michigan."
I had the Kirkland hats though, because Carlos bought me the black and gray hats from. I brought those to Michigan.
That's nice.
Anyway, we're here to talk about the community, not to talk about Costco.
Today's episode is not brought to you by Costco, but we wholly support it. Wholly support it. Yeah. Actually, before we do get into the topic of the Wetshaving community, I just want to put it out there for Ben, but also for the viewers to interact with. Is if you had a shave today, what did you shave with? What are you smelling like? Bilu, did you shave today, or is it an off day?
No, it's an off day, but I did use. Oh man!
Oh no!
No,
it's green screened out.
There's the Brute bottle that. There it is.
Put it in front of your face.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh
no. Okay. I'll do 2 sprays, one for the audience and one for you, as is tradition. I love Brute, man. Like it's probably my favorite, like vintage scent.
I did not know that.
Yeah, love Brute. Really grew on me, man.
I do not like Brute, but more power to you. Yeah, vast majority of the old school aftershave things is just not for me.
See, I was like that, but I think I'm turning a new leaf into more of the vintage stuff. So
as you've grown older and matured, you have
Yes.
acquired a taste for the
As I've
for the more
decayed.
mature. As your body has become more broken before you,
Yeah.
like that didn't hurt yesterday.
Yeah. And like you wake up, you do like a pain, just like analysis, like, all right, what hurts today?
I
And you
mean
roll
that
out of bed in the safest way possible.
story of my life. All right, so you went with he's smelling like Brute, which for a wet shaving program is perfect.
Mm.
Nate went with Never Alone 2.
Oh,
Excellent.
nice.
My
Nice.
Never Alone 3 should be arriving today. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Let's see what else. This is just, I think, old sense. Marion is
Oh,
a big. Is
Obsession. Yeah,
that Calvin Klein, right?
that is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Man, Obsession is vintage. Oh, man.
Yeah, it is. Like even the original Eternity, I would say it's
I guess that's called vintage now.
relative vintage, right? Not like
Damn.
if we were Gen Zers, it would be vintage for sure.
That's true. That is true.
Sally used Le Père Lucien Vetiver, the
Nice.
2022 special edition.
Nice.
Very cool. I've used I forget what its name, but there's a fougere, like a very green scent from them. It's herbaceous.
Oh. Was Ngari sample. Nice.
Yep, that's Aaron used.
Might be an upcoming
unnamed. I don't know. Maybe you got a preview. So
nice.
Sorry. Yes, might be if I read that, might be an upcoming release.
Is 87 considered vintage now?
Again, depending who you ask and how old they are. The youngins, 87 is like, that was 10 whatever or more years before I was born.
87 was like 30, 40 years. Oh, man.
For what it's worth.
Vintage to me is like 1950s, there's got to be another word for something
like
in
60s,
the 80s.
70s.
Yeah.
If you just use
retro?
old school, it's very much more broad to
right.
it. This was me today.
Oh, nice.
Ariana Evans, Tobacco Road.
Yeah.
It's honeyed tobacco. I think I got this first in either end of spring, beginning of summer. It's a little too sweet, but in the temperatures, fall temperatures, much better. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. I think we got some great answers there, all over the place. European soaps, American soaps, vintage scents, all that good stuff. So today, Bilu, our main topic, and we're going to have, some subtopics, but the big one, what is the wet shaving community?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some conversation in kind of the places that we frequented, just about kind of what the wet shaving community looks like. Why is there drama at times? Even what are the popular platforms right now? So we'll touch on some of them. I feel like in our little discussion before what to hit, this could be easily a two-parter. So if you guys are digging that the topic at hand, live audience, let us know. And if you're watching the replay, please let us know in the comments, as that helps us know what to cover in the future. So softball, and for any of these questions, viewers, go ahead and answer as well from the comfort of your home or wherever you're watching this. We'll start off. How did the shaving community landscape look when you first started shaving? So Ben, if you want to do the honors.
Sure. I feel like I'm relatively new compared to a lot of the people that we're friends with. I started like 3 years ago, whereas you got guys starting, 10 years ago. So I'm like, when did you start, John, for your journey, roughly?
I was trying to figure out. 'Cause I was Badger and Blade was my first forum.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, between Badger and Blade and YouTube, I would say, right? And I don't count YouTube as the social platform, but just as far as the intake of. But my first interaction with the community was through Badger and Blade, and I want to say that might have been like 2017.
Okay. Yeah.
Around there, I might be off by a year, plus or minus.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I skipped the forums and went right to Reddit as my first landing pod into the wet shaving community. And then
had you used Reddit for other,
yes.
part of other subreddits? Okay.
That's why. That's why.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
It's a big conglomerate of information, and that's what I was curious about,
It sure is. Yeah.
right? And then the Canadian Facebook group, Canadian Wet Shavers.
Hmm.
So I think those two spots were silly, were my landing or initial launch, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
spots into the community. And then yeah, you quickly find out, whether that particular part of the community is what is, good for you or jives with you, or if you agree with what they're saying and things of that nature. If you identify with that community or not, and you find out, especially on Reddit, real quick, if that's for you or not.
Yeah.
I think the forums, I think I touched upon it a bit, like what was it DFS, Badger and Blade, and yeah, I think as a new person into this hobby, it's in your best interest to find a community that you jive with. It'll just make your experience that much better, in my opinion. Because it's easy to fall into a community, adopt certain norms, and then think that that's representative of the entire community. I guess when we say community, we mean in a different scales or different subsets, right? Yeah, it's really easy to adopt certain norms for good or for bad, and that may influence kind of the view in which you view the hobby, right? And that could lead to good or bad things. But yeah, anyway, to answer before I go too off course, Reddit, Facebook, I'd say were the two big ones.
Okay. I can elaborate too. So even though I was on there for a year, maybe not quite a year, it's a great place. Badger and Blade is a great place for just information, especially as I'm looking into the history of things. But as far as like stuff for the artisan scene and others, I didn't really get to know more about that until I joined Facebook. And I think at that time, my first Facebook group was the Shave Market.
Oh, okay.
And that was quite a popular one back in the day, because I don't know. I don't know if it's still around anymore, but I met a bunch of great folks. I think one of the people I've known for a long time, Ross, he's watching right now. I think we met through the Shave Market and some other groups that we kind of overlapped in, but that was much better Facebook was much better as far as like finding that community feeling. Like the first group buy was made by at that time Mickey Lee Soapworks, who had a fantastic product and was very active and actually on multiple platforms. They were active, as well as like my first like custom brush, or sorry, like a group brush too. Was from that same release. It was a dupe of Drakkar Noir.
Panty dropper.
It was panty dropper. Yeah. Oh, that term. But yeah, except I think they translated panty dropper into, I don't know, sorry, they translated the Shave Market into like Latin or something. That was the name of the soap. But
yeah, and that's a buy and sell group, I assume, or was it?
No, it was just a normal like community group that had I think there's a lot of people from the from the United States Northeast. So it kind of like, oh, you're only, like you're in New York, oh, you're in Massachusetts. Like, it's kind of with a Canadian group. It's kind of, you kind of bond to by location.
For sure.
So I want to share some of these answers here. So Aaron mentions my intro to the online shaving community was Canadian Wet Shavers. That's the same group that you mentioned. Okay, makes sense. Ross, buddy, who I just mentioned, the Shave Nook was the first one I came across. So that's another forum. Which is I haven't
heard about the Shave. Is that still around, the Shave Nook, Ross?
I don't know. Yeah, Ross, is it still around?
The tone in her voice suggests that it may not be.
I feel like is that one? Is
it still alive?
I don't know. Sully says Instagram was first for me last July.
Yeah.
Oh, last July.
Sully even been hitting it hard, man. He's relatively new.
He's everywhere. Yeah.
He's hitting it hard.
And now it's Instagram and some Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, and Nate's saying IG is the jam now.
Yeah.
I guess depends who you ask.
Yeah.
And Corey mentions Canadian Wet Shaver represent.
Wet Shaver, yeah.
It's a lot of love for Canadian Wetshaving group.
You know,
Yeah.
for as small population as Canada has, we're quite well represented in this hobby, I feel like.
It's yeah, you're Canadian, Canada, Canada
Canada, yeah.
represents the Wetshaving very well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ross says, good question. I feel like I saw some not long ago that Shave Nook was going away. Okay. I
So
feel like it's on its way out, and there are a few that are kind of on its way out.
yeah, it really depends on obviously the user base, right? Whether they're active or not, or have moved on to other places.
Yeah.
I
Shave Nook is
I gotta include this one. Okay.
Oh.
Got Chris from Carve Shaving in the house. Mine was
Hey.
a Canadian Wet Shavers. Sorry, mine was Canadian Wet Shavers on Facebook too. When Brad posted pictures of the prototype, Christopher Bradley, I had no idea there was a community before that. Wow, so the prototype, so it's kind of before, I guess, his official launch, maybe.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, and then okay, confirmed. Shave Nook has gone 404. Thanks for confirming, Zap Blast. I guess I could have typed it into
Shave Nook. Rip.
Well, you had a good run, Shave Nook. Because I mean, I know. Yeah, I know a lot of folks that were there before. I never was active there, but wherever you find. So I think we kind of touched upon the secondary question, right? Or maybe not. Maybe it's a good lead into it. Has the community changed, or has your participation in certain communities changed?
I think the enthusiast end has grown as of late. I think shaving just in general has grown, but especially the enthusiast end. I think we're doing a pretty good job in growing and getting new people in and getting them excited and all that. So, and I think that's the main goal for a lot of the communities that we're a part of is, first and foremost, like, let's make sure everyone that decides to join has a good experience, feels supported, and has a ton of fun with it. Has my participation in certain communities changed? For sure. For sure. Like, I don't think I frequent Reddit or well, besides Canadian Wet Shavers, I do go on here and there, but no, definitely not the same communities I'm investing in today than I was 3 years ago. So yeah, that's my answer. How about you, John?
It's changed over time too, and I've already mentioned, I started out on Badger and Blade and didn't have that community feel. Facebook then, but what happens in general to a lot of Facebook groups is as it decays, but that's much more negative than I mean. Like over the life of the group, as it kind of plateaus and then maybe declines, it just becomes a dumping ground of shave the days and not really not so much interaction, like, oh, what's everyone enjoying lately, or kind of those kind of little small prompts. And that's still the case. I think that's still the direction of a lot of Facebook group goes. What really matters are active moderators, active group members too, not just good moderation is also good, because drama's going to happen, and we talked a little bit about this offline, but like inevitably when you get a bunch of humans together, especially ones that who come from as different backgrounds as like if shavings are a common ground, everything else as far as like personal life and beliefs and whatnot can run the gamut, right?
Yeah.
So conflict's going to happen, and either you either shut it down, or then things like harassment can happen amongst it, and then inevitably people who are more like-minded kind of gravitate towards each other, but it doesn't mean like kind of putting down others and whatnot. So all that being said, that's what leads to some groups either splitting, like there's it just straight up like one camp goes with this person and starts a new group, and sometimes we've seen those new group flourish and overtake others. Sometimes the old group course corrects and new blood comes in and kind of things, whatever toxicity that might have been there before kind of evens out. So that's not, sorry, I don't know, I went way off on a different tangent.
No. The crazy thing is though, like, let's say you have the whole utilitarian versus enthusiast, right? But the crazy thing is the truth for both of those groups can be valid. And I was thinking about this the other day. Like, the guys are like, oh, Arco's just as good as any artisanal offering, or you know what I mean? Like those guys
Yes.
that
Yes.
just right. It could be completely true to them because there's certain guys that maybe have skin that's like super leathered. You know what I mean? So that they don't
Sure.
have
Sure.
the capabilities to test and to see the difference between the two because
Are
their
you
skin.
saying the damage is done already? So like they could use like anything?
Yeah, I mean, if your skin's not going to respond to certain ingredients because it's so leathered, then
Yeah.
yeah, like Arco could be as good as an artisanal offering it, and it doesn't have anything different because your skin doesn't respond to those ingredients. So
Okay.
I don't know if
I'm
it's
following you. I'm
like
following you.
I don't know if it's an age thing or a sun exposure thing or a skin thing, but like the utilitarian group, and I'm totally stereotyping, I feel like is older than the enthusiast group just in
Okay.
general. Like we're talking like 60, like the classic vintage shavers, right? And maybe it's just like the skin doesn't respond.
There's
You
a
know?
young utilitarian right now that's so mad at you.
Yeah. They're like five guys. But that's what I'm saying. Like that could be their truth, and that's the hill they'll die on because that's their experience, and it's completely valid. Whereas,
Yeah, absolutely.
me with super sensitive skin, like I can tell, right? Like I'll get lit up or I'll get super dried out and flaky. So I was thinking about like maybe that's what it is. Just like there's just certain people that l- legitimately cannot perceive the difference. And that could be for scents too, right? Like, some people love the scent, some people don't. And it's just because of how we're wired as humans and what we have in terms of capabilities to detect certain things. So I may be completely wrong in that sense, but it was just a thought that occurred to me not too long ago. But why this happens? Because you would like to think that
Mhm.
objectively in the soap, there's certain ingredients that do certain things, and you know that they're going to perform a certain way, whereas other soaps do not have those ingredients, and those will perform certain ways. So you think, objectively speaking, based on these ingredients, they should have two different experiences. But so I was like, why is it that it doesn't? And that's the best I could come up with is potentially like user capability or user equipment or whatever it is, right? And that
Yeah.
could lead to like this like divergence of opinion, right?
I think that's one huge way that you can kind of divide up hobbyists. I think the utilitarians would still be a hobbyist, but it's how they engage with the hobby, right? It's not about,
Mhm.
um, or even if you want to say like the newbie enthusiast is about trying and buying everything, right? And that's a topic that we've talked about that I've addressed too, where it's like that might to different degrees people hit that phase and then kind of find what they like and
Right.
plateau, even out, whatever, in this case, plateau is not a bad thing.
100%. Yep. Yep.
And it's just the two in some ways do oppose each other because the utilitarian is like, why do you keep spending?
Yeah.
Why do you have 100?
Ungodly amounts of money.
Why do you have 100 soaps? Why do you have, or why do you need a razor over X amount of dollars? And that, I use
Sure.
the variable because for everyone, it's
Sure.
why
Sure.
would you spend $25 on a razor? I'm like, oh, okay. Like, sure.
Yeah.
So,
It's like
yeah,
cars, man. It's you want to customize the experience to exactly what you want. You want a stiff suspension, then go get that. If you want a cushy ride, go get that. But it's just, yeah. How much are you willing to spend to find your absolute best, most preferred shave?
that's
Right?
no, yeah, your personal best. I think that's a great way of putting it. Um, a few more, sorry, just to share a few more comments.
Yeah.
Just barbershop duet. We found you, Latherhog, when we are first searching back in July about the Henson razor, and then down the rabbit hole from there. I
Ah,
am
you are to
sorry,
blame, good
barbershop
sir.
duet. My
Apologize
apologies.
immediately, John.
I apologize by saying go check out the barbershop duet over on YouTube,
Yeah.
who is doing a bang up job. Great, concise format. I think dropping a lot of content, like very healthy
Yeah.
amount of content. So
Yeah. Yeah.
go check him out if you're looking for a new channel to watch. Uh, Sully, We got to have you on here sometime, Sully, if you're up for it. I think he has some good takes. So he's laughing. Arco is just as good as should be banned from human discussion.
I mean, what if like one day we, we're 80 and we have the leathered skin and everything, and just something crazy comes out, just absolutely insane comes out? Would we, would we be them? Are we gonna become those guys?
This is one of those not quite a unicorn, but on the rare side, but they exist. Chris from Carve says even more extreme: the dry shaver with hundreds of shaves on a blade. There are folks in the wet shaving hobby that, it's like they die by how many shaves they can get from a single blade,
one blade,
despite switching to wet shaving, and a blade costs on average, what is it,
10 cents?
10 cents? Quarter if you're feeling sassy.
Yeah, man, that's like putting $100 into a savings account with like 2% interest. There's your blade. There's your blades, bro.
Actually, I posit this: those folks that Chris mentions on the spectrum of utilitarian and degenerate, I don't know, shaving degenerate, that is on the extreme side of utilitarian, because it's like stretching that penny. Versus like the other side would be, hey, here's my collection of 24 Wolfman razors. Those are the two extremes we're working with. Great example, Chris. That's so good. Matt, I can read. Matt 1989 says, intro to wet shaving was the art of shaving at the mall.
Oh, the mall.
R.I.P. Art of shaving at the mall. And then that left me to my devices, and I found YouTube, found Thomas from Denmark, and then the big shave pass around. Sorry, that meant apologies for the typo there. Very cool. Okay. Art of shaving. I mean, even if
do you think pass arounds, John? Do you think pass arounds are unique? Well, okay, so the idea of a pass around is a very high trust activity, in my opinion, right?
It is.
Like if I'm going to pass around a $500 razor, I have faith that this community is good enough that I'm not going to get ripped off. Is that like common in other hobbies?
I don't know about other hobbies, but from my days on forums, that was quite common. And I also know actually on Facebook as well. And I've definitely heard stories too. And then people that get blackballed in the community because they decide to keep the pass around items.
So it does happen.
Terrible.
Okay. It is.
For sure it happens, because I think people are very trusting. It's like, oh, okay, this new person to the group, or sometimes not a new person, just a regular, decides to break bad, and this is mine now. And unfortunately,
mountain bikes it's sold all the time. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. Unfortunately, like multiple times.
Oh.
Aaron's giving us another example here. Same argument for LPs versus streaming. If you cannot perceive a difference, the extra expense is wasteful. So that's for you music lovers out there. Carlitos, how's it going? Glad to have you join us. He says, I'm glad I found wet shaving as a hobby.
Sure, buddy.
Back in 2013, I'm saving so much money. Sarcasm is what that should be read with.
Haruko's like, who the hell's importing all this shaving stuff? is a town just gotten into wet shaving?
Just Carlitos.
One guy. Just
one dude. All right, let me let's see what else we got on the outline. All right, so those are kind of some of the, I guess, ups and downs, different aspects of the community. Kind of digging deeper. What does the shaving community mean to you?
I think Corey's comment is actually relevant to this.
Yeah.
He predicted the future.
You want to read that one?
I think this community is a bit closer than others. So yeah, you're playing a ton, or you're putting maybe a ton of trust in the people don't, or maybe you don't know, but all share a niche passion. So I think gives a peace of mind. Yeah. I think there is inherent trust in these communities just because they are small, right? I mean, when I first heard that there were pass arounds with like expensive ravers, razors,
Yes.
neighbors, and razors. And I said razors because I feel like it is a community and that is really close, like your neighbor and your family. But yeah, first mention of a pastor, and I was like, damn, like that's a very high trusting community. Yeah, Corey absolutely screwed me with that comment. Like, I'm sorry, my typing was so bad. I'm just like,
You're fine, Corey. We
just
just can't. We can't read. We can't read
trying
good
to make
today.
me look like I can't read, Corey. What the hell? Okay. What does the shaving community mean to you? So nowadays, it's okay. I'll preface this with we have a Canadian Mafia Instagram show. And from that show, we kind of copied you, John. We have a Discord now for fans of
I
the
did not
show.
invent it. You're good.
But that community means a ton to me because I feel like there's three parts that make up that community. A third is obviously the shaming content. A third is support for people's wins, and then a third is support for people's losses. So up and downs. I know that's life. But it always is much easier to digest when you have a bunch of people there to support you. And that's kind of what we were going for. Like, obviously, the initial plan was to, hey, let's just have a Discord for fans of the show. So when we're on our off week, we can still talk to people. And if they have suggestions for the show, that's where they can put them. Because previously it was just like, yeah, you had all these different communities, people from all places were kind of watching the show, and there wasn't really a way to mass communicate with everybody. So that was the original intention. And then it's just morphed in this like super supportive community of people who I think genuinely care about each other, like for real. And it's gotten to the point where we've met face to face, we've broken bread, and it's been awesome. It's these are people that I have no problem having over to my place. Like for example, we're gonna go to Idaho in October, so like in a month, and the plan is for all the guys from Toronto and Thirsty Badger from I think is Winnipeg. They're all staying at my place the day before Chris from Carve comes and picks us all up, and it's gonna be awesome. And then
Nice.
these are guys like from the community, man. So
Right, right. They were previously online only friends that
right.
you've since met in person multiple times. Some of them, right?
Yeah.
That's
And it's
awesome.
because of this, like.
Oh, and sorry, remind me. What's the name of the event in Idaho?
Oh god. Northwest.
Do we look? I gotta look it up. I'm
Wetshavers
sorry.
meetup. I'm totally pulling this out of my ass.
I just thought you knew. I just thought you knew. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yes, Chris is the best, most law-abiding driver ever. Plus, it's his vehicle, so I don't think he trusts any of us to like drive his vehicle.
Duly noted.
But yeah, like we're headed there as a group, and it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna meet a few other people. Northwest Wetshavers meetup. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. Yeah, that's just an example of like bridging that offline and online gap. So yeah, if anyone wants to go, we'll be there. I tag along there proudly.
I think this is the second one as well. Because did you go to the first one as well? Was that what the original?
Yeah,
Ben had
and I caught E. coli. Yeah, that was brutal.
God,
just brutal. So I'm hoping I don't catch E. coli this time. The funniest thing was when I went to my doctor. He was like, "Oh, when was when did you eat something that had it, and when was the onset of a few symptoms?" And I'm like, "I don't know, 2 hours." He was like, "Man, you must have got a lot of E. coli because it usually takes like 24 hours."
Oh,
he's like, "If you got it in 2 hours, you had a lot of E. coli." Sweet. So, anyway, so I'm just gonna eat like Costco hot dogs and burgers the whole time, like super processed, like.
Just avoid the seafood, please.
I mean, it could have been the lettuce, man. It could have been the lettuce.
That's true because it's not cooked. Okay, all right, fair enough.
So, man, no healthy food whatsoever for the next like 3 days. Anyway, so
well, actually,
phenomenal.
Well, meetups. I was gonna say like meetups, right? Tying into that's where so I got to meet Ben in person back in June, amongst many other folks at the Maggard meetup. And I think meetups are great to further solidify relationships in the shaving community. There was a Northeast meetup. Well, actually, like pre-pandemic, and even then, like a year or two before before that, that
Right.
was the first time I met a bunch of people who I interacted with that Facebook group, or even some YouTubers and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that was they're great
I feel
opportunities. Sorry, go ahead.
no. I was just thinking because you mentioned the pandemic. Like if one happened now and everyone was locked down, like I feel like we have a social enough group in Discord to not like suffer the consequences of isolation. And
I
it's a really weird thing to say, but it like I live in the middle of nowhere, basically. All my friends are in another city, like we're talking, 15-hour drive away. Um, and I don't feel like any of my social needs aren't being met because of these, groups and because of wet shaving.
mhm.
It's just yeah. It's crazy to think that it could get to this point where I talk to you like you guys more than I talk to like my IRL friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Or the lines are much more blurred, right? Because having
Right.
met people, yeah, they are. Who's to say they are not IRL friends at this point?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you? Sorry, I rambled on long
No,
enough.
no, not ramble at all. That it was. It's a great answer. You were making me. You made me think of. Again, I think we mentioned this before, like differences between our discords, and I
Mm,
think there's less of that maybe camaraderie on the Lather Talk Discord. Not to say there's not
right.
like friendly. Like you ask for advice or questions. Like it's not. People give you suggestions for razors and stuff, but it tends to surround strictly the hobby, and
Right.
less so where people are wishing each other like happy birthday and like how are the kids, and kind of there's more
Yeah.
personal sharing going on. I think I think example can be extended to other groups. Some people are there just to talk about the hobby and only the hobby because
Mhm.
they're, as you mentioned, their needs are met elsewhere, local friends, family,
Right.
whatever
Right.
commitments they have. While other people might be looking for more friendship and that social aspect. So yeah, even just that little like microcosm of discords, there's such a difference there.
Yeah.
I definitely think we are in better shape, and I think when the pandemic originally happened, it was like the what do you call it on Messenger, the video chatting
Oh yeah, the
got
Facebook
added.
rooms.
Yeah, the
Right.
face in the Facebook groups, and I
Right.
think that was kind of good timing for that. But
Yeah.
also, I think because people were, the stress levels were high, anxiety is high, and you're just again exposed to people from all different walks of life, from all different backgrounds. Conflict happened. Lo and behold, conflict happened.
Yeah.
Some people don't know how because of like lack of familiarity with technology. They don't do Zoom meetings for their work, so they didn't know the etiquette, right? As far as like talking over each
Mm,
other and like a lot of things like that, where kind of it could be either worked through or you might be shunned because you couldn't follow protocol. Like unfortunately, right?
yeah.
Uh, so that's kind of I don't know. Technology helped bridged a lot of things, but then also I think we've forgotten kind of like social graces as well. You know? Ju- Muting yourself if you're having a conversation with your spouse and talking over everyone, and they,
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
That happens. That happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Did I?
think
Yeah. I don't know if I answered the question.
no, you did. I, I
Okay.
I think your Discord has a lot of resources, like information. It's very information rich. Like if I'm looking for a high end razor, I think your Discord by far is better suited for reviews and for people who actually have it. Because I
Mm.
think like the whales, if you want to call them, like the
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
end guys,
That's
kind
what I
of all
call them.
hang out. Yeah, they all hang out in the Lather Talk Discord. I mean, we have some too, but it's definitely more. I think your Discord has like double the amount of people that we have, which is awesome for you guys. But definitely, yeah, there's a different feel, and I think both of those Discords kind of serve different purposes, sort of. If that's what you're looking for, like information, high end stuff, and just a lot of people with a lot of opinions on stuff. Lather Talk's great, and ours, it's like if you want, I don't know, just to shoot the shit, just to hang out
Sure.
with
Sure.
a dash of shaving. Nate wants to be a whale.
You
shaving.
already are, Nate. You already are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our Discord. So it's interesting. I wonder if there's other shaving discords besides those two.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Reddit earlier. So Reddit has two
Yeah.
different Discords. There's two main subreddits
Oh, right,
for
right.
shaving, and each one has one. So just give a shout out. There's our Wetshaving, which I believe came first, and then Wicked Edge. Is it Wicked underscore Edge? Is the other major one, and they also have a separate Discord. And those two, like, if we're talking about differences between our Discord communities amongst subreddits, those two also are very, very different because it kind of comes down to like who gets attracted to which group and how
Mhm.
it's moderated.
Right.
So I would
I
say which
should have known this. I was
right.
actually part of the Wicked Edge one. I
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah. You dabbled
I
there.
dabbled a bit. Yeah, you're completely like Wicked Edge is way more chill, and then I think
Yeah, less
Wet
moderation.
Shaving is way more hardcore
Yeah. So like
for the good and for the bad.
well, because it appeals to different personalities, and I like the
Right.
organization. I was a little weirded out by first, but it's like you only post for some examples for you who are scared by Reddit. Like, don't be scared by Reddit. I'll say that
Right.
first off.
Right.
But it's like shave the day photos instead of everyone creating their own thread on
Right.
the on the subreddit. You just post it under one collective thread, and it keeps everything
Right.
organized. There's like what was that, like twice a week there's announcements of new products, right? And you put all, if you're a vendor artisan, you announce it in there, not like a separate plug every single day. It kind of
Yeah.
helps keep it helps maintain or sorry, prevent spamming and just like
Mm.
over broadcasting of certain things. But that might sound really restrictive and like suffocating for the more fierce spirits out there, in which case Wicked Edge, everything is I believe everything is a separate thing.
Yeah.
And as long as you follow some basic rules and guidelines, you're fine.
Yeah. I think so. The downside, so I didn't like the way that Wet Shaving, yeah, did
Yeah.
theirs. Yeah, because it's a lot of digging if you want to actually find stuff. You have to open the daily and then you like scroll down to a bunch. Whereas I don't know, I just like pictures, which is probably why I like Instagram so much.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm more visual too, actually, and I think that's what same exact reason as you.
yeah. I do want to mention that is it the lather games?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was intriguing to me. So for those that don't know, I think it's a month-long shaving like extravaganza where every day you have like a new challenge to do, and then you get points if you complete those challenges, and then at the end of the challenge there's a bunch of prizes. Is that accurate, John?
Sorry, I was reading.
Oh, okay.
I was making sure I didn't miss comments. I'm sorry. What did you ask about the lather game?
Yeah, so the lather game, it's like every day there's a different challenge. You complete the challenge, you get points. At the end, you win something, or you potentially could win something. Is that kind of the gist of the
Yeah.
lather
So
game?
you accumulate points by following the daily like theme of the day, and for
Right.
different things, sometimes there's bonus points. So you're accumulating like there's judges. There's a panel of judges keeping score.
Mm,
And multiple artisans and vendors donate prizes, which they
right.
award, first, second, third place. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot of organization, but it's actually a difficult event too. I tried it one year.
Yeah, it's super high investment, man.
Yeah, super high investment. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that. Yeah, but
And
very
then the reason
very fun.
it is, it can be intimidating, and I think that's why I never tried because I was like, man, this is a lot of work. And if you're one of those guys where it's like I'm gonna go in and try to win everything, or I'm not gonna participate at all, then
Yeah.
it's not for you. Like
No.
you kind of have to jump in every once in a while on the things that you can participate in. Kind of like the theme of the weeks that we like to do. You know, some maybe for you, some not. Totally cool. But I wanted to bring up the
Hmm.
lava games because when I was first in the wet shaving hobby, that was like my first glimpse into how generous the communities could be, right?
Yes, yes.
In terms of just giving all the artisans and even people giving back. And this was a while ago. Um, and I really like that. And I feel like this past year, that kind of generous spirit generosity in the community, yeah, has really taken off on IG and on Discord. Um, and I could see the trend as to when it really took off, and it was when TRC started coming onto the scene, right?
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
previously we had BBS Live with their giveaways, and when they used to spin the fucking thing, and then the list of names and the numbers. So back then, we had it, but it wasn't like gangbusters, like it is when TRC came on the scene and like really, really supported the community, and really started investing in the community and giving away gift cards and you know just swag, really. And I think if I were to pinpoint a a specific action that led to this new norm of generosity, I think that would be it. And now what we have on our lives is, people would win a gift card, whatever, right? And
Mhm.
then they would give it or like pivot or pay it forward to someone else in the live who they know may be having a rough go in their life currently,
Mm,
or
sure.
and that's like the next level now, because people before used to win, cool, congratulations. Now it's like they win, I don't want it. This person would appreciate this much more. Let's give it to them. Or it's their birthday. Let's and like we had a live where I think it was Carlos's birthday, and like
Yeah,
he's a super generous guy.
he
And
is.
everyone that won something, it all got piffed to Carlos. Happy birthday, right? And I love how that is the norm now. It is just this like generous um, spirit amongst the Instagram crowd on the lives, and to a certain extent the Discords. And to go back to what we were saying before about established communities, um, I feel like this is a new community with a new norm led by a relatively new store, right? Like
Mhm,
before TRC, there was what? Maggard's, West Coast Shaving, top of the chain. I feel like we're the three big ones.
mhm.
Am I missing any, or do you think those would be the big ones?
I forgot how old Shave Supply has been around, but and like Shave Supply, Pasteurs,
Afterwards,
uh,
yeah,
just and that one, clearly like it's a physical location too, right? But I mean, yeah,
right.
those are the major player. Those were
Okay.
some of the major players.
And I feel like the razor companies come in and has taken a lot of market share, at least amongst the enthusiasts from those stores, simply by like establishing this like goodwill reputation, right?
Mhm.
And supporting all these shows and supporting all these projects like Never Alone that just came out. So I'm loving how this is the direction in which at least this part of the community is going, right? And we
Right.
had talked earlier about like why doesn't certain other communities do that? And then we talked about how there's like certain norms that are established, and then that's that part, and that's how they operate, and they attract those types of people. Totally cool, but it's really hard to change people, and it's really hard to change norms. Like, are we going to get a you know like a community that's not generous to all of a sudden start being generous, or is it just easier to start a new community that has that
Mm.
generosity norm built into it, right? So
That's true, and I'm just thinking of other examples where I think that's definitely a phenomenon on Instagram in particular.
yeah.
And I did also want to mention, I think with Instagram, it's a little harder to the community can be kind of a dicey word for Instagram in that
Mm.
it's very fragmented, right? It's a lot of like if you have a group chat there, if you have good buddies that you're DMing with, of course, there's a sense, there's like a looser sense of community because it does, what I mean? There's it's just the way the the
Sure,
user
yeah.
interfaces and whatnot. But the lives are certainly one way where at a given time, especially on a scheduled program like for your show or BBS Live, which is on tonight, um, you can do stuff like that where kind of these movements and also don't want to shortchange Nate and Mel who kind of spearheaded that and just giving away a lot of things
Oh,
from their own
geez.
or own personal collection. So if it's kind of a snowball effect, it's a very good snowball effect. And
Mhm.
but also I think it depends on the community because again in our Wetshaving with the lather games are a great example of generosity as well, But
Mhm.
if you wind up frequenting that platform, you'll see it everywhere where it's like, oh, I got, I bought an extra sub because it's going fast and I'm piffing it to, the entire subreddit. There's
Mm.
multiple examples of generosity like in that group. And I specifically mentioned Reddit because it does get a bad rap. I
It
feel like
does.
even though I'm not like super involved with it right now, but there are great people, and unfortunately, when it trickles over to like other platforms and how it interacts with it, they tend to be more negative reactions because people are either getting attacked or feel bullied or something like that. But
Yeah.
that's not all that Reddit's about. It's got its own little quirks and stuff, just like every other platform does.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
the defining moment for me when I decide like this isn't for me is when there's some thread about A&E, and then they're like trying to show me evidence of Peter acting poorly or something, and it was something about Peter called Reddit assholes or something like that, and then they showed me the evidence. I'm like, no, he called like 5 people assholes, and you guys are assholes. So I don't understand. And then they didn't like that at all. And then that's kind of where we're gonna go. But yeah, it's one of those things where if a community hasn't really satisfied your needs, then just move on, find something else, man.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's complicated, and sometimes like in going into specifics and stuff. Yeah, some people will say like I've never seen that. It's always been good, or I've only dealt with the bad. So we do. I guess kind of take what we're saying with a grain of salt, in that we're kind of comparing notes, our experiences, and I feel like Ben, between what we're sharing, like we can like I vouch for that. I confirm that it's not
Yeah.
like I don't think we're saying like it's not just good. There's
Oh
for
yeah,
for
there's
every group there are positives and negatives, pros and
100%.
cons.
100%. I
But
feel like
yeah.
Discord is, I mean, do you think your level of involvement in the community kind of dictates where you end up? Like if you're super hardcore, are you
Hmm.
gonna, naturally go towards a certain community? Whereas if you're more casual about it, you kind of float towards a certain community. Do you think that
Yeah.
level of involvement and investment kind of dictates where you're gonna go?
Yeah, because I think certain ones, the forums, if you just want information, what people might say lurk and not necessarily
Right.
participate.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
everyone's a content creator, so
Right.
Instagram might not be your thing. Yeah, I think your personality slash what is your level of engagement. I feel like that's kind of what we're circling around.
Hmm.
What your what you want your level of engagement to be will highly determine where you end
Mm.
up. Because if somewhere's like if you're I'm thinking like like reality TV shows like Survivor, right? It's like I'm not here to make
Okay.
friends. If you're not here to make friends, probably don't go to the Canadian Mafia Discord
Right.
because they're gonna try to friend the crap out of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You like
Damn, damn friendly
it's
Canadians.
just a damn friendly Canadians.
Uh,
How dare you? I don't want to be your friend.
What's funny is the Canadian wet shaving Facebook group has very little conflict. And then you cross over to some of the American groups, you're like, holy shit, like these people are like just straight up roasting each other for no reason.
The Canadians are
It's
too
it's it's
nice.
a difference, man. Like, holy.
Uh, yeah, yeah. Did I say it earlier? Conflict is inevitable. I mean, it just kind
It
of
is.
depends the maturity level of everyone involved. But let's
Yeah.
see. It's been a while since
I
I
think yeah, it's like don't feed the trolls, I think is the
don't ever
best
feed the
advice.
trolls, no
Don't
matter where
ever
you
feed
go.
the trolls.
Don't feed the
Yeah.
trolls.
It
Uh,
yeah, just let it pass.
Sully says, I prefer IG to be honest. Discord is too convoluted for me.
Mm-hmm.
Too many channels, maybe? I'm not sure. That can be intimidating if you have like all the I want to talk about this topic, so I gotta go here. That might be. I mean, both. I know both of us do that just to kind of keep
Yep.
things quasi organized. But
Yep.
that's fair, Sully. No, yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
share
the
you.
other day, what was it? Sunday. A bunch of football stuff in the general chat, and I'm like, okay, I need to make a sports
Oh, was it?
channel. Yeah.
I must have caught it Oh, it was my daughter's birthday this past Sunday. So did you clean it up or something? Like by
No, I
later?
just said, okay, let's
Oh.
just make a sports channel so you guys have
Oh,
somewhere to chat.
okay.
Because otherwise, it just the good thing about having separate channels is you get that like neat discussion that's centered towards a certain topic. So that's
And
kind
it's
of why, and
yeah.
it's popping, man. Like the Americans are extremely passionate about their football. I can see.
They are. I'm not. So I'm dabbling this quick sports aside since I never talk about sports because I'm not.
Right.
Anyway, I'm like to help my son who is in 5th grade now, just to have sports are a good way to just make casual connections
Mhm,
in all walks of life, right? And I feel
mhm.
like that was missing for in my development a little bit because the only sport
Mm,
my dad watched was golf, and this
right.
is like pre Tiger Woods golf, so it's like
No,
boring
okay.
AF. Like, I'm sorry for any golf fans out there.
Yeah, right.
I dabbled with some baseball for a couple of years, and then I found all my nerd stuff and music stuff. But I'm like,
Mm,
maybe, especially here in New England, we have some decent teams, or at least interesting to watch. I was like, maybe I should just like learn some of the rules of football and watch it
yeah,
and see how that goes, and we can root for something together. So we watched like the end of the game on that for that Sunday. It's like, oh, tuned in for a good one.
yeah.
To watch the Pats lose, but it was it's still fun to watch. So I don't know. I might try to learn the football.
The football. I mean, even if you're not a fan, going to games is a lot of fun. Like,
Oh, sure,
I'm
sure.
not a big football fan, but if there's a CFL game and there's tickets, I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Right? It's just a fun atmosphere to get thousands of people cheering at the same time. Is just fun.
Yeah, and something you're kind of all rooting for the same team. Uh, I know Ben and I also enjoy some WWE and like
I was
that
just gonna bring that up. Like,
sports entertainment live. It's awesome live, and you have the people you cheer for
yeah.
and the people you
We
boo.
should try and organize a WrestleMania with any of the other WWE fans. I think that'd be
Oh
awesome.
gosh, yeah. There's
Yeah.
there's a handful, not a lot, but there's a
Not a
handful.
lot, which makes
Yeah,
it doable. That's why, right? Like
it's also expensive.
max 6 guys, I don't know, something like that, but
Oh
I
yeah,
think it'd be
that
fun.
actually that'd be very doable. You can kind of talk. It's not too big a group where you can't have all
Yeah,
talk together. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Let me just check. We're coming up on an hour. I think we actually got to just about all the things
Okay.
except this one last one. And I think we kind of touched upon this too.
Mm,
So, in your opinion, what is the value of the communities?
yeah. Now that we've it's no secret, I'm pretty invested in the hobby, but now that we've made this platform or this community on Discord and on IG, like, it's invaluable, man. Like, I feel like if there's any issues that I have so many people that I can talk to. There's so much support. And it's been a rough year, man. Like, few acquaintances have passed.
Mm,
Irene's grandma passed. Our dog passed.
yeah,
So it was a tougher year than most this year. And I've dealt with it, and everything's okay now. But like, going through it's kind of shitty.
true.
But
Yeah.
knowing that there's people to talk to and that give you support, and even if it's just like, oh guys, I'm having a bad day, and you get like flooded with messages like, oh no, it's we're here for you, and like that just makes you feel better. So having that, I think, is invaluable for my mental health,
Mm,
straight up, right? So for me, the value of the community, that our little corner of the community, is invaluable, man. It's so awesome. And great for shaving and enabling and for buying new stuff.
I,
Oh,
I like your former answer, but
right.
it's the
That's much
more
deeper,
real,
but
much
yeah.
deeper. Yeah, yeah.
But like, oh shit, Nate just ballered up for you.
Oh, okay. I think they're called super chats. Thank you, Nate, so much for the super chat. Uh, a little spoiler and plug for him. Nate is pinch hitting as a podcast co-host this weekend when I talked to Gentleman's Nod. So
Yeah,
you're
Nate's the
gonna
perfect guy.
you're gonna
Perfect
hear
guy for
him.
that
You're gonna hear
conversation.
him
Yeah,
in the next episode. So
yeah.
uh,
Nate's good stuff.
yeah, let me also tackle this question. So yeah, the value of the communities at this point, especially where I'm not really chasing every new release, it is the connections, it is friendship, and I think that's why like I do spend a good amount of time over on Ben's Discord because of the camaraderie, and I've really come to know a lot of folks there. Where if you are having a bad day, there are, it's not just one, but there are multiple people who will lend an ear. So again, great, like you said, for mental health, great for just support, group support, in general, and this can be said about like other communities. It's you don't have to just we were plugging the Canadian Discord a lot, but this is in other groups, or you'll meet individuals through other groups, and then have little pockets of friends and stuff like that who hopefully you can confide in and kind of check in on each other. So
yeah, there were two things I wanted to talk about, but I don't think we have time. And it's fanboys or fanboy groups. And then whatever the opposite of fanboy groups is like hate boy groups.
Hate
where they are together because of a common hatred.
I'm gonna jot it down.
Sorry. Which I've seen start coming up lately. So I mean that could be for another show, but yeah.
I think this is a great kind of broad scope of communities. But if there's other kind of aspects of this topic that you guys would love to hear, all ears. Leave a comment. As I love working with Ben and kind of talking about and taking a closer look at these kind of hobbyist-centric, hobby-specific, but maybe like not specifically about razors or soaps or anything like that. Clearly, it doesn't get talked about all that often, and I think it's a great topic to dissect. All that being said,
I feel like we could take on any topic, John.
Just any topic,
anything, yeah. Because
this is a good one, though. This is a good one.
It is.
I do really appreciate your insight on that, and preparing for today's show. But I was gonna say, with that being said, I want the chance for both of us to plug stuff. So Ben, care to plug some things?
Yeah, I think the Mafia Discord would be the one to plug. Link is in the Canadian Mafia Show Instagram account, just at the top.
Do you want me to plug it into the chat right now, or is that?
No, I think if you go on Instagram,
not necessary.
It's at the top there. And then we had a collaboration with Peter from A&E, our second one. There you go, Mafioso's Retreat. It's been getting pretty good reviews lately from everyone that's owned it. So we're really happy with that. We're really proud of that. I think those would be the two things. It's in the Ultima base. It's a very summer-esque type scent. It's so we've had good feedback. Yeah. So we're really happy about that.
I can vouch for what Ben just said. It's a great scent. It's very summery for sure, but it's got legs behind it too, where like if you need a little bit of like a warm weather tropical vibe in the dead of winter, easy reach there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, Ben, find him. Where's my banner? Go give him a follow. One Pass Bilu, and also at Canadian Mafia Show. Some quick plugs for me on the way out. It's been a busy content week. Lather Talk podcast came back just yesterday. So if you haven't had a good chance to check that out yet, here on YouTube, but over wherever you download podcasts, get a chance to check in with Gerard. We haven't talked to each other about stuff in a couple of months. So exciting live stuff that's happened. We talk about a little bit about kind of where we are as like waning hobbyists. I don't know, or just like hobbyists season, but I mean just like enjoying what we have already, kind of that topic that's been a popular conversation. And I feel like
that's a topic in itself, John. Like
it's a topic in itself, but I cover that on the podcast.
We could dive deeper.
Okay, well we we can always tackle that as well, because it's kind of different for everyone. It's specifically what are the ups and downs of a hobbyist journey. So if that interests you at all, go check out that podcast. And like I mentioned, also we have a guest coming on this weekend, and that episode will come out in probably another 2 weeks. So trying for two episodes a month. And so Gentleman's Nod is coming up. They've been doing a bang up job this year. Nate is the guest co-host. Also, what's dropping tomorrow is my thoughts on this razor right here. That is the Blackland Razors Osprey adjustable razor. So that was
What's the top look like, John?
The top? Like this?
Yeah. Okay, nice. I just want to see if it covered the blade tabs or not. I guess it
does. Oh, yeah. Yes. Covered blade tabs. It'll be an early look at that. I feel like I even after like 3/4 shaves, it's just scratching the surface, because the adjustable allows for a lot of different options. So I'll position it as kind of a preview / early look. But really, I've really enjoyed my shaves with that razor.
Nice.
So find out.
Is the least level or level 1 like low? Is it actually mild? Because I'm a fan of mild razors.
Yes, it is actually mild, where I described it as on level 1. It's got that low blade feel of like a Mercur 34 or whichever mild starter razor that a lot of us went with a little bit of a bump in efficiency. So there is the steep price tag of $350 and USD. Yeah, sorry, $350 USD. That's already if you're like, I'm like, that's nice, I'm out. totally understood. But it does have, between the there's 9 different settings. I found it to be a very usable razor, and I think there's gonna be something for everyone, except for the people who love hyper aggressive razors. I think that's the only one it doesn't touch. In which case, Blackland will hook you up with their other razor offerings. But very impressed with what they came out with. So find out more. That'll come out tomorrow. It's not edited yet, so I'm hoping for tomorrow afternoon by latest, if not the morning.
Do you have the what's that, is it Nodachi, or what's that one called?
The Tatara one?
Tatara, yeah. So Muramasa?
Muramasa, yeah, that's what it is. So
you have that?
I've always been, this thing converted me to kind of revisit adjustables. Before I'm just like, adjustables, like especially the more modern ones are quite expensive given the engineering and those pieces. But I might have to go at least borrow a Muramasa and just see how it is, because I feel like they're kind of in similar price points. And
that's going to be the main competition, right?
One of the main ones, and obviously the Rex Ambassador. Is that right? Rex Supply, right? Ambassador. That's kind of the OG, but that was a 2-piece, and that one on the 1 setting was really aggressive for me.
That's how I judge these. Like if the lowest setting is still scrapey, I'm like, no, come on.
But I think, man, it's beautiful. It's a beautifully designed razor. Feels good in the hand. So it's one of those where like I'm bummed. Like the one was a little too much for me. I wonder, even if I revisit it, put a milder blade in there. I kind of like more blade feel now too, since I last used it.
Nice.
So we'll see. Maybe we'll do a little tour of adjustables.
It'd be a banging YouTube video when you compare the 3 adjustables. That's what people are.
That's what people want to know. Yeah, especially they're spending $200, $300 plus almost $400. So totally understandable. You want the research.
Yeah, and you're one of those like trustworthy YouTubers too. That's not.
I try to be. To be.
I think your opinion holds a lot of power, because there's a high trust. I don't know what I call it, but it's a very high trust channel and a high trust opinion. And I'm not saying this just because I'm your friend, but like, I feel like if it was shit, you would say it was shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and hopefully that's
good lathers. Says Nate.
Sometimes I've been known to make a thin lather by accident here and there. Usually,
you want to see a thin lather? I got a thin lather for you.
I know.
Thin lather channel.
That's not my specialty, but I can do it if requested.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
All right. Well, Ben, it's been fun. It's been over an hour, but it just flies by.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
It really does. So we'll try our best to make this a regularly occurring thing.
Mhm.
I can tease too that the Ben and other members of the Canadian Mafia show are on the slate to be on the
Mhm.
podcast. And I'm also very much looking forward to that episode, just to, especially if there's more than four of you. Like, you guys don't usually have a chance to all, you
That's
got
right. Yeah, yeah,
all be
yeah.
on. So it'll be a first.
It
It might
Yeah, I wonder
break
how
the
it'll look
internet.
with because there's 6 of us now, plus you. There'll be 7 people
And then Jordan.
on the display, yeah, so see how
So
that looks.
yeah, so maybe we have to forcefully like rotate people in, just because like we're all talking over we'll
Well,
see.
I mean, we'll see how it goes. We should do a test run to see if it even works with 7 people at one time.
That's the good thing is it's not done live, so we can figure
Yeah,
that out.
that's true, that's true.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Ben, again for your time. Really appreciate viewers,
Right.
especially the live audience. We really appreciate your contributions, kind of coming in into the conversation with us. I do apologize if I did not get to your comment, but all the same, love the dialogue going, and we hope to keep
Mhm.
it up. I think, Ben, when we do this again, I think we'll talk about what you mentioned, kind of other offshoots of this wet shaving community topic. I'd love
Yeah,
to dive deeper.
cool. Yeah, sounds good to me. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, yeah, my pleasure, of course. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers before
Yeah.
the end of the year. I think it's totally doable, but where I initially thought it was less than half of viewers were subscribed, it's actually more than that. It's actually like 70 freaking percent
Yeah,
of non-subscribers, which I really
yeah.
appreciate. But if you can do me a favor and sub to the channel, we'll help reach that goal, and then offer a great giveaway.
Hey,
Yeah.
stick a Marco for everybody. No, I'm kidding.
No, I wouldn't do that to you guys.
No, you'd lose immediately like 400 subscribers.
There goes my credibility out the window into the trash. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, you all be well. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. We'll catch you
thank
next
you.
time.
Bye, guys.
Take care now.